In this video, we're going to sketch some flowers in a glass vase. You'll hear my dog Georgie snoring throughout this video. Oh, he's awake now. Hey George, you want to sketch some flowers?
It's color, it's color for Christy.
You only need a green, a yellow, and a blue for this project, but I used quite a few different markers. I'll talk you through what you can use throughout the video. I highly encourage you to use whatever you have on hand, even if you have markers that are not alcohol markers, or if you have crayons or pencils. I do have links to everything I use, but use whatever you have on hand and just practice. There is no wrong way to be creative. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw a couple of circles, just little ovals, where I want my flowers to go. So they're going to be facing that direction and that direction. So that's the center of the circle, and then I want to draw where the petals are going to go. And they're going to come like this. We'll draw some lines in a second. I'm just going to draw some direction lines. So they're going to go like this. And then I'm going to have a little bud here. And then my stems. My stems will go like this. Then I'll draw some little guides for my petals. Doesn't need to be perfect, and you can change it later. Then I'll draw a little, I'm going to draw a little vase. So I'm just doing an oval, and then I'm going to do another oval here, and then another oval at the bottom, and then we'll connect our lines. So we'll connect our lines for the vase like this. Okay, now we're all set and ready for ink. For this project, I'm going to use a 0.5 Copic multiliner. You can also use any fine liner like this Micron pen, or different sizes if you want to use, like this is a 1.0. So we're ready for ink, and I'm going to do a loose ink sketch. So I want to keep my lines super loose. So I want it to look like a natural flower. I'm following my guidelines here, and don't worry about your petals looking perfect. I kind of want them to look kind of edgy. I'm also picking up my ink or my multi-liner here every once in a while, just to give it like a soft edge. And you can give it a hard edge if you want to. This is just the way I like doing it. And I'm just doing my petals just like that. And I'm doing it a little chaotically, but you can do it however you want. You can go in order if you like. And I like making my edges kind of like a flower, wouldn't be perfect edges. Then I'm going to go in and fill my little sections here. So I've got some little sparse areas. And I'm going to go in the middle and do just some little round bumps and some dots. Just to give it a little, some edging. Edging, that's not edging. Just to give it some texture. Now I'll work on my next flower. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to just go in the direction. And anytime my flower is folded over, I'm just going to do sort of a rounded edge like that. I want to give it the appearance that it's sort of falling off the edge. And then same here. I'm going to do, so it's coming around like this. So I'm doing a little bit of a rounded edge. Like that. And I'll just keep going and then add my, I'm doing little round like C's kind of thing and some dots. So I'm connecting here with the C's so that those lines meet, and then just doing dots there. Then I'll do my little bud here. So I'm going to do it like kind of like this, where it comes around, and then again up here. So it's kind of looking like it's trying to bloom. I'm gonna do my leaves before I do the stems. So I'm just going in an arch there, and then I'll come back up. And I'm not perfect at doing leaves, so this is not going to be like a perfect. So I'm cutting it off there because I want it to look like it's sort of has its own little stem. Then I'm going to go here and add a couple little things like that. Then I'll add a little jagged leaf here. And then my other leaf, I'll go right here. I'll add another one here. Then I'll do kind of an open one here. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to follow exactly what I do. And now I'll do my stems. I'm keeping it loose. And something I want to do is kind of go a little bit behind some of the leaves too. I don't want it to be like a straight line. So I'm going to do a soft, sort of jagged line like this. I'm going to add some of those right there, just a little extra. Add my stem there. I'll do the same thing on this side, starting from the top over here. I don't know why, there's no rhyme or reason. And to give it a little extra, I'm going to add some sort of little extra, I don't know, natural stemmy things. And I'll do that on the stem too, like that. Then I'm going to add some little, like that. I don't know what those are. I like having little leaves dropping and stuff like that. I don't know why. So have fun with it too. Now I'm going to do the vase. So I want my line to be kind of the same sort of jagged. And don't worry about it being perfect. Mine's never perfect. And here I'm going to have it closer to the line here, and then it's going to come out a little bit further away from the line. Same thing on the other side. So then I'm going to follow my guidelines like this. And I'm a little crooked down here, so I'm going to straighten that out a little. Maybe this is a handmade vase. And then I'm going to add a little line back here, just like as if you can see through a glass vase. Maybe a little thicker here for a shadow. Oh, and now we're ready for color. So let that dry for a few minutes, and then I'm going to erase my guidelines. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to pick some colors. So I've got all my colors here coated on my alcohol marker organizer. It makes it a lot easier to pick some colors because I can see what goes together and the different shades. Here's a good example of a cap being not exactly what the color looks like. And this one's a good example too. It's actually a really nice red, but it says fluorescent coral red. I'll keep it simple for my greens, and I'll grab my go-to green. This is a YG11. And I actually thought that was too yellow, so I bought this G12 sea green. And so this marker is, it still has some YG11 ink in it, but it's, I started filling it with this G12. So I know that's not very smart, but that's what I did. And this is one of my go-to darker greens, the Sage. This is just from Artist Loft, from Michaels. I don't really like these markers, but I really like this color, so that's what I'm using for the stems. And I like to add a little bit of brown to my stems. So I'm going to use this E43 Dull Ivory. So for my vase, I'm going to use this B120 Ohuhu. And then a darker color too. I think I'll go with this B250. And then I think I'll use this, I never use this color, so I think I'll use this Copic marker I've had forever that I never use. It's Y23 Yellowish Beige. And why not use this Sunflower Yellow? This is Ohuhu as well. It's Y2 Ohuhu. Ooh, it's dirty. And I think I'll use this. This is a yellow, but it's kind of an orangey yellow. And I like to have a little bit of orange in my sunflowers. And then I think I'll use this yellow grape. This is from the Grayscale set, Ohuhu. And you can find these links below. It's just, these markers are oval instead of round. But I love this Grayscale set. I use it like almost every day. And before I start filling in my marker, I want to make sure that these colors actually look good together. So I just jotted them down next to each other to make sure that they're going to fit. And I think they look good, so we're going to move on. So I'm just going to erase my pencil lines now that my Micron pen has dried. Actually this is the Copic. Takes a couple minutes for it to dry so it doesn't smudge. And I'm going to start with my flowers. Let's do the stems first. I like to use the brush tip when I'm sketching really small like this. It's just easy to get those little lines. And I'm going to leave a little bit of white on the, like where the light would be hitting some of these things, because that just gives it a little more character. And I'm just drawing over these little lines to make sure that they show as green. And then I will go in with my darker color and just kind of edge things a little bit and add some little wonky marks, I guess, for lack of a better term. So I don't like it to be perfect. I don't really do, you've probably seen this in my other videos, I don't do regular blending. I kind of like this look of blotchy sort of coloring. So I'm just adding a little bit like that. Then I'm going to add some little marker strokes just to finish off the green here. And this is to kind of give it a little bit of a watercolor sort of look. And I just kind of add little dabs. That's it for the green. Now we're going to do the sunflowers or whatever, I don't know, whatever flowers these are. And I'm going to leave, so around the ridge of it, I'm going to leave a white space so that it looks like it's shining, like the light is shining. And then, so there's going to be the white space, and then I'm going to go around like this. And just sort of edge them. I know I missed there, but I can add some little paint pen later. You'll see me fix that up. Now I will use my darker, this is the sunflower color. So the last color I used was the lightest, and I'm gonna just tip. I'm tipping just a little bit of an edge in the middle and then on the edge like that. Get closer on this other one. Do the same thing. I missed my little bud there, so I'll go back and do that. Do my little bud like this. And the light would be coming this way. So I'm leaving that little tiny edge. And then I'll add my little yellow there, like that. And these cheap markers don't have, they're a dual tip, but they have a chisel and a pointed tip. So these ones are a little bit harder to get really, like a really nice tipped line, or like a really fine point compared to the brush tips. But we're just working with what we have, so we're gonna do our best here. So I'm just adding like a tiny bit of color. Actually, this marker is kind of dry, or getting dry. I don't know if you can see the marker there, but that's okay. We work with what we got. You don't need fancy markers to do any of this. Ohuhu makes really good, like some of their sets are really inexpensive. So now I'm also gonna go in between some of these areas. Oh, that's my dog snoring, in case you're wondering what that sound was. And I'm gonna add dark areas where, you know, there would be petals, like underneath petals. Does that make sense? Oh yeah, he's really snoring now. Now I'm gonna use this yellow gray, and this one also doesn't have a brush tip. That's okay. I'm just gonna add it there and do the little middle section there, and I might go in and add a couple of little spots to the stem. I like to sort of tie in some of the colors, so I'm going to add just a couple of spots like this, just to give it a little bit of like cohesion, I guess. Now's the fun part. We're going to do the vase. So I'm going to take my lightest blue and I'm going to try and make it look like this is glass. So before I start, I want to make sure that I'm not going all the way to the edge, because a glass vase has an edge that you can see. So I'm going to leave that edge all the way around like this. And then I want to do the water here. So I'm going to do a little oval, but I want to leave some of it white. Kind of like that. If that makes sense. Then I'm going to fill it in, but I'm going to make it loose. So I kind of want this to seem sort of like a watercolor. So I'm just doing like light little marker strokes. Don't worry, we're going to go in with another color too. So, and it's okay if you mess it up a little or don't get it perfect. It's not, it's not a big deal. If you go over the line or something. So it's feeling a little lopsided right now. So I'm just going to fix up this little water edge line here. And then I'm going to go like this up here. And I'll just add some little lines for like with the vase might have, like beveled edge sort of thing. So now I'm going to take my darker blue, the B250 that we chose, and I'm going to go darken up some areas. So I'll darken up here, so on the corners, and I'll darken back here. I might do a little bit of edging on this bevel here, under this lip, maybe around the edge. So I kind of blurred the edge there a little. And I'll do a little, kind of a line to bow it out a little. So I'm just giving like the illusion of a bevel in this glass. And same thing here. I go right on the lip. So then we have stems going into the glass. So I'm going to go like this. So the stem's going to come down here, and then it's in the water, so I want it to be kind of blurry like that. Same thing here, kind of blurry. And then we'll have a couple of other ones here. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to take my yellow gray again and just add a little, like I did before with the stems. I might even add a separate one. Then I'm going to take my blue, my lightest blue, and I'm going to kind of blur those a little. You don't need to do all of them, just where you already have blue. It's not really like a ton of blurring. I'm going to add a little ripple, kind of where they meet. So it's a kind of like a little tiny, I don't want to say an oval, but just like where they're going into the water. And I'll do the same thing. I'll take the darker blue, just do a little smudge. If that makes sense. So now you're pretty well done. We're just going to add some final touches. I'm going to take this gel pen. This is a white gel pen, but you can also use other things. Like if you've got a Posca pen, you can use that as well. Or you can just leave it as is. You don't even need to do this part if you don't want to. I'm just going to add a couple of little dots, just where like the light would pick up on the flower. And I'll do the same thing on the edge here and on the little flowers and the stems and the leaves. And I'm going to do the same thing for where, remember we did a bevel? So the glass would have like a little ripple in it. I'm going to do that. And then the glass would, because it's coming out right here, it might have a little shine. I'm going to add a little shine there. So I'm going to take these last two colors and just do a sort of little table that it's sitting on. Anything light gray or a really light color will be fine. So all I'm going to do is sort of a hint of a table here, just like that. So then I'm going to let this dry. It only takes a couple seconds. I keep trying to pinch my picture. And then I'm going to take my other dark color and, or sorry, not dark color, my light color, and just do a little bit of maybe a shadow or just to add a little extra. You don't even need to do this part. I'm just overthinking it. And then our final touches, I'm just going to add a couple of little, like as if a couple of dots or a couple of petals fell like that. And that's it. So these are the markers that I used in their order from this side to this side if you want to take a screenshot. Or if you want to jot down the names of them. Let me know what you think. Did you try this? Did you do different colors? If you're on social media, you can tag me at colorwithchristy_ on Instagram, or you can link to it in my comments if you like. Or you can tag me on YouTube if you have a channel if you tried it.